I am here to show my support for Rich from ReviewTechUSA, who just received a community guideline strike on his channel when he was live streaming and he was going through some highlight clips that had to do with Quantum TV. I know I've already made a video on this and I hadn't said the name, but now I said it. That original video I made had to do with Actman, Quantum TV. We didn't know all the details. I'm not saying that it's justified, but it made me go, oh, that's why. Because the Actman had made some satirical jokes about doxing and stuff like that in relation to YouTube employees. So they did not take lightly to that, and they completely demonetized him. Obviously, I think they went overboard, but I wanted to recap as to how that started. Then there was some things about Quantum TV making an Elden Ring review. People didn't like his take on it. And then it just spiraled out of control. But it's clear that Quantum TV has said some very, very hateful things on multiple different platforms. And yet he still remains untouched, unfazed by any of this. And then the rest of us, not me yet, are taking big hits for merely bringing this to light. And that is why I'm making this video, because I don't understand YouTube or anybody else that's going to watch this. Yeah, because I'm sure YouTube's going to sit down and watch this. They've struck my channel before for things that they didn't even look at and admitted to it. And then they apologize because when I have them review the video, they're like, oh no, you're right. It was okay. This is what I'm getting at. So they strike people, and I don't even think half the time or most of the time that they're actually looking at the content. It's like that whole knee-jerk reaction saying. So for him bringing this up in a live stream got him that strike, the community guideline strike, and it pissed him off, and rightfully so. It pissed me off. It pissed me off for him. He's one of my favorite content creators. And even if he wasn't, that's not the point. It is not the point. I'm not into this whole cancel culture thing, but there definitely comes a point where if you cross a line, and of course, I've talked about this in my other video, everybody's going to have a different stance on where crossing the line is. Well, it's pretty simple. If you incite hate, violence, and all that kind of stuff, that should not be tolerated at all. Satire can be sometimes hard to depict, but with someone like the Actman, who's so big and well known, and given the situation because he got doxxed, and then his mother got a phone call from Quantum TV, and then he was saying that YouTube sides with hate, that there's definitely corruption going on there. That's why he made those, jokes and satire. So it should have been obvious. But that's why that happened. With Nevo, again, like I said, 2 days, completely just ripped off the platform. Now he's okay. This guy doesn't go too far at all. Gets a community guideline strike. For all I know, I'm going to get one for merely mentioning the situation, for merely bringing this to the surface, because, we need my voice. And I know some people are going to roll their eyes, but I still feel like regardless of how big or small you are in terms of your social media influence, if you truly stand by something, you should speak up. Do it. Strengths in numbers, right? So he's talking about the corruption. I'm talking about it. Actman's talking about it. It's like voting. Never think, well, it's just one vote. Who cares what I think? I won't bother. It all adds up. This video here could make a minute difference. Maybe you don't even know the situation. Maybe you're finding out about this story from me before, which is highly unlikely, but, miracles do happen. The point is, I wanted to show my support for Rich. Actman, I support. I'm not obviously on board with the satire stuff. I personally would not even ever remotely come close to start joking about that stuff, to the point where I don't even like saying the DOX word out loud. Like, that's, to me, that's pretty taboo. I mean, no matter how big of an enemy anybody could have, to me, those are just some of those rules you don't do. No matter how much of a problem you have with someone, you don't do that to them. You don't show up to their door. Like in the instance of that guy that showed up at Boogie 2988's house, you don't show up at people's homes. You just don't do it. You call them, you email them, you Twitter them, you leave a comment down below. You say, look, man, we have some differences to settle. Can we talk about this? And if you've got to do more, you got to do more. Just don't show up at people's homes. Don't tell people where those people live, their families live, and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I'm just hoping with the more voices behind this standing up to this corruption, because there's obviously something going on. And the proof is as plain as day. I mean, Quantum TV is just not getting any strikes, any warnings, nothing at all. And it's quite baffling. We don't know how he's doing it, but he's doing it. And it's very frustrating. Because there are people out there that are good people, that are just trying to live their lives, make an earning, support their family like Rich is doing. And that's now being impacted for merely talking about a situation. Imagine, being a news broadcaster and just talking about the war in Ukraine and talking about how Putin is corrupt and he's bad and all that. And then getting fired for saying that. Like, it makes no sense. It's a fact. And there are people out there who I will mention by name. These are people that sometimes I watch because they help me look at things in a different light, even though I don't agree with them. Like 95% of the time, that doesn't matter. I still like to listen to the other side. You've got people like Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder. You've got Ben Shapiro. You've got Matt Walsh that say, in my opinion, some very questionable things. And I'm just like, wow, how do you say that stuff and get away with it? And I think they should be able to say what they're saying. But I'm surprised that they're able to go to that level. This guy here is not even able to make like a highlight clip or go over a highlight clip of some things that have been discussed on a situation and getting a strike. Now I get it. Louder with Crowder, I think, was taken down from YouTube before. Now he's back up. I'm just saying those guys aren't hurting. Same thing with Matt Walsh. He's doing interviews with Fox News and all that kind of stuff. He's able to voice his opinion on some very sensitive subject matter on top of that, especially in regards to LGBTQ. You gotta watch what you say about that, right? Well, he gives you what he thinks. He's not having any issues. Rich isn't saying anything hateful. Nevo wasn't saying anything hateful. He was merely talking about a situation. And YouTube takes it upon themselves to silence those people. That's why the title of his videos, YouTube is trying to silence me over Quantum TV. Because they really are. What is it that's so bad about just talking about the situation? It's like, did they realize that they fucked up and they don't know how to backpedal and they're just like, strike everybody, get them out? Well, that's making it worse. How about people that talk about the situation, which with all due respect, none of us are Pootie Pie famous. It's not like there's a million people that they have to reach out to. Why don't they reach out to Rich? Why don't they reach out to Actman or anybody else and just say, look, this is a sensitive topic, and we'd really appreciate you just don't talk about it. Or take down the video, or don't demonetize and strike. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And in closing, yeah, that's right, I'm going to talk about me now for a minute. When I got an actual copyright strike, a full-blown strike on my channel, when Take-Two Interactive made a claim on my video saying that I broke some rules when I actually had not broken any rules. And YouTube was not really able to do anything about it. They said, well, he's the owner of that content. I'm like, I was talking about the trailer for the game. that was coming out for WWE 2K22. This was like way back at the Royal Rumble in January of this year, 2022. I didn't show the trailer that had leaked. I merely mentioned that there's now a trailer that's leaked, and the official one's coming that day. It was actually the day of the Royal Rumble. And I got a full-blown copyright strike for showing my bald pumpkin head on camera on YouTube and talking about that a trailer is upcoming. And I got a full-blown copyright strike for that. And I had to roll the dice. And I was scared. I was sweating more than I am now. And I did a counterclaim, and it said, you better be sure, because now you're forcing Take-Two Interactive to take you to court and provide court documentation against you. And if they failed to do that within like a couple of weeks, the whole thing took almost a month, man. And I was like panicking. Because I'm thinking, what happens if within that whole month I get struck 3 times? Your channel gets taken down. You lose everything. These people could lose everything. They are now more vulnerable. Will Take-Two Interactive fail to provide court documents? Well, that's because I didn't do anything wrong. But I was treated as such. And YouTube told me, yeah, you know, you're going to have to take it up with the claimant. Right, because the head of Take-Two Interactive is going to want to interact with me. And my video, by the way, because this kind of ties in with this stuff. It's the whole false strike, false claiming, and all this kind of bullshit. My video had barely been out for a minute. A minute. Under 60 seconds. Remember the movie Gone in 60 Seconds? Yeah, that video was gone in about 60 seconds. Whether it was the algorithm that detected it, I don't know. But I had also made a video on that. And that really stressed me out. It gave me a lot of anxiety. Because I knew I didn't do anything wrong, but yet I still got struck. What if that happens a couple more times? You're done. What if this happens to him now a couple more times? What if this video that he posted gets him taken down? Anyways, I'm done rambling. I shared my piece. I'm really not happy with how things are being handled. I'm really, really, really not. If anything, Quantum TV absolutely 100% deserves a full-blown community guideline strike just for the mere fact of doxing people and for the fact that he wished upon people from the LGBTQ plus community to die in a mass shooting in a Pulse faction. The Pulse shooting, if you remember, was a gay bar, I believe, in Florida. There was a mass shooting there a couple of years ago. A bunch of people lost their lives. And this was in relation to showing the female protagonists that play in The Last of Us 2. They were in church. They were dancing. They were kissing. And that's when Quantum TV made that very violent, very hateful comment that it's disgusting. But that gets a pass. If you look at Quantum TV's channel, he's flourishing. He's got no problems. And these are facts. This isn't like about an opinion. This isn't me siding with Rich because I like him. No, it's siding with him because that's what's right. That's the right thing to do. Siding with Quantum is not the right thing to do for the mere fact of the hatred that he spreads. And especially in June, it's Pride Month. What a worst way to show that YouTube does in fact side with Pride Month. With all this bullshit. So there you have it. There's going to be a link down below, by the way. I forget if I mentioned this. To this video, if you want to watch it. And there's also an article in regards to Justice for Actman that you can read if you want. It kind of goes into a little bit more depth as to how the whole thing started. As a matter of fact, now that I've rambled on for, 14 minutes, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. My video is long enough. If you want to read this peacefully on your own, go ahead and do so. Like I said, it fills in the gaps of what I didn't talk about or maybe forgot to mention in this article. It just brings everything to light. And it's crazy. Very few things truly blow me away and surprise me and make me go, oh, wow. This is one of them. This is definitely one of them. And as someone who's sort of kind of been through something similar to him, I can relate. It's a very scary thing, especially when your livelihood relies on this. If you liked the video, as always, you know the drill. A thumbs up, as it does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. I gotta be careful what I say here. But I will bend it in half and twist it. And maybe break it off in your ass. Depends.
Everybody, I want to make this.
And if you want to subscribe to the channel, or Rich for that matter, just don't forget about me. Once you go there, don't forget about little old me here. He just hit 1 million subscribers. 1 million subscribers. I'm hoping before I'm dead, if I live to the ripe old age of like 80 or 90, to maybe hit 100,000. Just saying. Trying to be humble here. Yeah, so if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. And if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. Hopefully, maybe I'm still around after this, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next video. Bye for now.